Good evening, everyone. I am Mekhala, working as a junior research fellow in the Department of Audiology at All India Institute of Speech and Hearing, Mysuru, India. Here, I am going to present a research study which we conducted as a part of our project. The title I am going to present is The Assessment of Comorbidity of Language, Attention, and Cognitive Deficits in School-Going Children with Central Auditory Processing Disorder. As we all know, central auditory processing disorder is a deficit in the processing of information which was presented through the auditory mode. CAPD can be associated with or without comorbid conditions. And there is a lot of research which says that usually children with CAPD will have comorbid conditions such as language difficulties, reading difficulties, attention and or cognitive deficits. And if they are associated with these comorbid conditions, usually they exhibit deficits in multiple skills rather than in an isolated skill. Hence, this created the need for our present study. There are many studies which have reported mixed findings about the presence or absence of comorbidities of language, attention, and cognitive deficits with CAPD. The main objective of our present study was to assess the comorbidity of auditory processing disorder, language impairment, attention, and memory deficit in school-aged children with listening difficulties. 1,200 school-going children in the age range of 8 to 15 years participated in the present study. Screening checklist for auditory processing was performed on these 1,200 children, and out of 1,200 children, we found that 80 children were at risk for central auditory processing disorder. This was found uh, because they obtained a score of 50% and above in the SCAP checklist. And these children also reported of having listening and academic difficulties at school. And based on the diagnostic CAPD test, 13 children were diagnosed as having central auditory processing disorder who had bilateral normal hearing sensitivity. And these 13 children were selected for the study, who were also assessed for language, cognition, and attention deficit. A detailed audiological evaluation was conducted. The audiological tests included pure tone audiometry, tympanometry, DPOAs, and auditory brainstem response to rule out any hearing impairment or any mid-ear pathology, and also to check for any cochlear or retrocochlear pathologies. The screening tests included were WHO disability test and the developmental disability screening test to rule out any other developmental disabilities. And SCAP was used as mentioned earlier. And the language tests used were linguistic profile test to check for the age adequate language skills, and English language test for Indian children was used to check for the proficiency in the English language. The cognitive tests used were color cancellation test to assess the selective attention and N-back and 2-back verbal memory test to check for the cognition or the memory. The diagnostic behavioral CAPD tests used were speech in noise test, gap detection test, dichotic consonant vowel test, duration pattern test, and auditory memory and sequencing test. The results obtained from all the above tests showed that these 13 children were having bilateral normal hearing sensitivity with intact mid-ear function, and there was no cochlear or retrocochlear pathology, and they had passed the screening test, that is the WHO screening test and the developmental disability screening test, and the SCAP results showed above 50% scores. And in the LTIC language test, 4 out of 13 children had poor language skills. And the linguistic profile test showed age-adequate language skills. And normal scores were obtained for colors cancellation test and N-back and 2-back test, which showed that these children had normal selective attention and normal verbal working memory. The diagnostic CAPD test results showed various deficits in the various auditory processing abilities. 15.38%, that is 2 out of 13 children had a deficit in temporal resolution and binaural integration. 46.15% of children had a deficit in auditory closure. 61.53%, that is 8 out of 13 children showed a deficit in temporal ordering. 30.76% showed a poor performance in auditory memory and sequencing task. So from the above results, we found that children with CAPD who exhibited listening and academic difficulties at school had a pure central auditory processing disorder without any involvement of a language impairment or a cognitive deficit. This could be due to a small sample size, which was taken for the present study. Hence, from the above study, we concluded that CAPD can occur solely without any involvement of comorbid conditions. Especially it was found in the present data sample. These children may have deficits in the neural processing of auditory stimuli, not due to any cognitive or higher order language pathology. Hence, it is very crucial to have a multidisciplinary approach even in the assessment of central auditory processing disorder. Hence, it is important for all the audiologists to assess the above mentioned domains to confirm the presence or absence of any comorbid conditions among children with academic and listening difficulties. These are the references. And I would like to thank the Department of Science and Technology for funding our project, the director of our institute, the head of the Department of Audiology. I would like to thank participants of the present study for their cooperation, and I would also like to thank the organizing committee of VCCA for giving me an opportunity to present in this conference. Thank you.